as God wanted us to live. So that means a devotee says, my dear Lord, not on my terms, but on Krishna Arpanam Astu, on your terms. So what a beautiful life is in ahead of all of us, right? That we will be able to offer 60, 70 years of our married life as a wonderful offering. Samsiddhi Haritoshanam. My dear Lord, I am incomplete. As we were talking yesterday, I like one point Acharya Ratna Prabhu was saying, that we have Swabhav and Shraddha, right? And I like the point of Shraddha which he said is that we may not be pure. Obviously, we are all struggling to be pure rather, right? We aspiring to be pure. But we have that, if we haven't have that Shraddha, that intrinsic faith for whatever we have heard, learned and understood, and therefore it has given us some insight into this beautiful science of Krishna consciousness. And that if I live my life, this is the Shraddha, that if I live my life based on these principles, right, then I am perfectly situated. Even the endeavor to live on that platform itself is very pleasing to the heart and to the Lord. If we have that intrinsic Shraddha, I may not be able to live to the standards and expectations because of my limitations, but I have that Shraddha that this is the perfect path. Are you getting the point? Right? That I am incapacitated, that's what the Acharya said, Pangum Langayati Green. Right? I am blind, I am lame. Acharyas talk like that, na? So you may say, I am blind, I do not know much. I am lame, I don't have the strength to really walk this path nicely. Right? I am ill-informed. Right? But I have faith that by the grace of Guru and Krishna, I can tread this beautiful path and perfect my life, perfect the life of my family, perfect the life of all my loved ones, and along with me take them all to the higher realms of Krishna consciousness and ultimately go back to where I belong. Right? So when we hear these seminars or any lecture from our society, from a bona fide speaker, we should be hearing with this Shraddha, that this is an eternal science. Prabhupada did not make this science, but he transparently presented this science. That is his glory. That he understood, digested, realized and presented. And he knew that whether it is America or Europe or Australia or India or Bangladesh, this works because it is universal science. It is not based on jati, bhed, geography. Works. So every grihastha of every planet, whether it's Swargaloka, Pataloka or Bhuloka, this science is applicable everywhere. Right? I don't know if they have seminars in Swargaloka like this. I don't know about that. But I'm sure Brihaspati has his own system. He's the guru of the demigods, he has his own system. And ISKCON has his own system, like that. So let us hear with this intrinsic faith, and then we will be more enthused. Yes. It's difficult, but I'll do it. I'll put my heart and soul into doing it, right? We have that confidence. So now, we introduced you to the subject yesterday about emotional intelligence. That means, as simply said, the intelligence required to understand human emotion. Simply said. Forget the definition. That intelligence which we are supposed to have to be able to understand our and the emotions of people around us. Now, it's not just for the wife, that I use my EQ for my wife. I don't use this for conducting ourselves nicely. We were dealing with human beings. And the problem is because we have, as Vishakapari said yesterday, we have been dealing with so much machines these days. The previous generation had bullock carts to travel. Right? And castor oil lamp and the hourglass. Very rudimentary, almost sounds primitive, right? They didn't deal with machines. So their entire energy was focused on getting gratification through emotions. But now where is our energy being used? A lot of our energy is going towards gadgets. So what we don't use, there's a principle in science, but don't use atrophies. You heard about atrophy? Not that trophy, वो trophy नहीं है. Atrophy, not a trophy of Olympics or a trophy नहीं. Atrophy means like you have a fracture. You put hand in a plaster cast for 6 months, suppose. When you open that cast, what do you think happens to your muscle? If suppose you are a gym person, you had biceps, good biceps, अच्छा दिखने वाला, which you can show off. But you have in a plaster cast 6 महीने के लिए. What will happen to your muscle? Huh? Will it be people to have the same tone, the same cut? Will it be same like that? What will happen become? The word uses flabby. The muscle becomes flabby. It has lost its tone because it has atrophied. Atrophied. You see a person paralyzed, or see a polio person? Polio वाले का पैर कैसा होता है? मोटा होता है कि दुबला होता है? दुबला होता है. क्यों? That muscle is not working. The muscle is paralyzed. Right? Atrophy. So please understand from the scientific example that because we are overly concerned about getting our life moving ahead through machinery advantages which machines are giving us, we have lost the ability to understand human emotions now. We understand machines. Will you agree, as young technocrats of this world, that we are far more adept at, dealing with machines than with human beings? Is it not true? You agree? I'm sure I can give you any machine of this world and say, hey, figure out karo na kaisa chalta hai ye. I said, probably just give me 1 hour, Give 1 hour, I'll just, without using the manual, you'll figure it out. On, off button, this, that. You'll figure it out, I'm sure. You are technocrats. Right? But people like myself who are like biology guys, nahi samajhta hai humko. They're biology people, We can understand how the human body works, but how machine works, we don't understand. Right? So we have lost this, and therefore this is going to be of great benefit. So Vishaka Priya will lead you to some discussion. Huh? No, go ahead. Okay. So I'll take few. We'll share. We have shared our life together, so we shared a discussion. I think it's because why I wanted to speak is a very important reason. Why she is here is a important reason because she gives the aspect which I and you may not understand because we think like a male because we are male, but she is in a female body, right? So she thinks like a female, and to understand that dimension also is what she is here for. So she gives you between herself and myself. We should be able to give you a more clearer picture. Right? About how women think, how men think. So it's like that. So first thing is, I said, know thyself. Right? Physician, heal thyself. Know thyself. Self-realization. First is, know your own triggers. What is the meaning of that? Don't read all of them, okay? The tendency is to read all the slides. We tried to make it 1, 2, 3, 4, but मांगने वाला खाना है नहीं बराबर पूरा 10 साथ में आ गया. You want to put 1, 2, so you don't read all of them. First one is know your triggers. That means there is something in us which you are like now connected to yourself. Okay, there is something in you which triggers a wrong emotional response. There will be something in all of us. If done in this way, it elicits a proper response. And if something is in a different way, done elicits a... Because what is emotions? It's basically the stimuli. Stimuli, you understand stimuli? Stimuli. Many stimulus or stimuli. And then there is analysis, the level of the cortex or whatever. And then there is a response. Stimulus, analysis, response, right? So some stimuli may create a wrong analysis and therefore a wrong response, right? So we need to be aware as to what are my triggers. Just like the asthmatic will have to know what are his triggers for asthma. If I apply deodorant, if I apply a black hair dye, even made of Godrej or whatever else, if I use some scents in place, I get asthma. Or they put some agarbatti in the room, I get asthma. If I go to the highway without my helmet, I get asthma. So they have their own triggers. A migraine person knows if I eat chocolate or cheese, I get this thing. I get triggered, right? Or somebody says I go in the hot sun, I get headache. So we also should understand that there are some weak points which are triggers in us, which elicits improper responses. So can you think of yourself now? What would be those things which will elicit a wrong response? Can you figure out for yourself? Yes. Do you know this is to understand? It's self-awareness.
When I know somebody is kind of junior to me, younger, so if he or she doesn't listen, then
okay, so somebody doesn't, you have a tendency to control, and then that person doesn't listen to you. That means he's not getting controlled by you, right? So then you may give a response. Good, that is a good input. Anybody else thinks? Yeah, what is your trigger probably?
When there are too many things simultaneously going on.
Exactly, good trigger, right? You have office, you have your children, you have your wife, you have your health, and then you have your rounds. Right? And there will be some laptop work, there will be 100 emails to answer from your boss. Then it happens with me also. Right? If the patient is calling, this is there, and this is there, and something is there, the program also is there, and this is there, and we go here also, and there also. And can you just keep it aside for now? Let me finish one thing properly. Right? Men, now I'll come to the point. Men and women are different in this regard. Women have got this ability to do multitasking. And I know definitely, I don't want to glorify her, but when I look at, we are very typically man and woman in some ways. She can do many things at one time. I said, Vishaka, please, now I am focusing on this, don't tell me other things. Okay? So let me do this one thing only. I just can't do 50 things at one time. But she can be a pujari, she can answer some phone calls on the girls' camp, and somebody has a program which calls from America, she can answer that also. Look, so how do you do this? Right? So that's a good trigger. Yes. Say it again. Your mobile. Yeah. Why? What does happen? Oh yeah. Okay, good. And this is self-awareness. I like that. Right? So you are realizing what are your, as you say in a war or even in corporate war, what are your strengths and what are your. So what we are doing right now is eliciting our weaknesses. That I have free access to this thing. I have some, and you have some time also probably, right? I have some time now, and I have the net, and I have the time. So it's good time to get into the net. Maya jala baddha hoy, they say, right? So that net starts working. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, Jitu. Okay. So we have a trigger. Yeah. You just get into a totally one trigger where you. But I'm talking about your responses. What is it?
Our trigger, I just wanted to share. Whenever we'll end up arguing, it's on a Thursday. You want to know why? Thursday, Wednesday we go for service to temple, Gopinath temple. We have our DT worship on Thursday morning. So Wednesday we reach temple late night. After the hospital work is over, so already you have slept late. You have to get up early on Thursday morning at 3 o'clock, which you don't usually get up at home so early. And then from 3 o'clock, you chant some rounds and go for your services. And by the time you finish, it's like 12:30, you come home, and then you're cooking at home, and it's a tiring day. So anytime we end up arguing, it's always a Thursday. And suddenly, we realize that, We arguing, and then it's, oh, it's a Thursday, cut it, you know. Realize that it's only because it's a Thursday, neither you mean it, neither I mean it. But let's be more aware, Thursdays trigger our fights.
Yes. We are tired, we are hungry, we are sleepy, we are thirsty.
Combination of everything. Because while you are doing services, you are not had prasad. And you don't drink water because you are supposed to do deity worship and everything. So all these factors simply trigger our...
Yeah. So it will be nice if you can maybe write down now or later on, right? These are the triggers which I have. Especially dealing with people more than machines. So you said the trigger of internet. That's one thing. But more than that, we're looking at right now triggers about when we deal with people. When we deal with people, then you know how you trigger off, right?
Several reasons could be there. One is there's all these physical things which we do, that not sufficient rest or food or this. Sometimes it is emotional dissatisfaction also. If I am emotionally satisfied by you, then I behave nicely with you. But if I have, always I have had some tussle with you, then every time you come in front of me, subconsciously I'll end up behaving badly only with you. Because your presence triggers my emotional dissatisfaction and I'll end up emoting like that. Sometimes it's simple upbringing also. We've been brought up in that type of environment that the smallest thing triggers like...
Some people are by nature, you have seen some people are just irritable, चिढ़ने वाले स्वभाव,
चिड़चिड़ा
कुछ भी होता है तो चिढ़ जाते हैं, देखा ना? Some of us are like that, right? They are irritable by nature, means it requires the smallest trigger, which is insignificant trigger, but it elicits usually an irritable response. So उतना भी shock absorber नहीं है to handle that little bit of aberration. Small thing that that happens in husband wife many times, right? If one of the partners is that swabhav, chidio means, chidio means not chidiya but chidio, and that means you're irritable. So then husband wife get, small things, why they disturb you so much, right? So if you're irritable by nature, it's a major trigger we have seen in disturbance, because small triggers, if you get irritated on small things, over a period of time it has what is called as a cumulative effect, right? You get irritated for this, and after some time on something else, and after 2-3 months, hey, this guy is too much here. I can't get along with you. Now, how can you be so irritable or something? And then you may give a bigger negative response. Get out of my life.
So for these triggers, we have to be careful, because when we are talking about the EQ, right? You are dealing with some human being, opposite to you, your partner or whoever it is. And when something triggers us, our raw emotions come out. You don't filter it, right? That I have to think. But trigger means it happens, there's a stimuli and you respond immediately. There's no time to process the emotion. So how many of us like raw food and how many of us like cooked food? हमको बोला raw बैंगन खाओ, raw करेला, raw तुरई. How many of us would like to eat that? If you make a nice shukto or cooked karela sabji with stuffed karelas and all, you will like it, right? Because it is cooked. So trigger means what? Our raw emotions come out. If we do not know what is our trigger. But if we understand our trigger, then we have time to cook our emotions and then it comes out. And that becomes more palatable to the opposite person. Isn't it true? That I understand that, okay, today I am tired or I am hungry. So that is why my trigger is coming out, so I should be more careful before I go home. Because there is all the reasons that something will happen. Some trigger will be there and I will end up exploding. So knowing your triggers helps us to cook your emotions before they come out, and that helps in the balancing of your emotional quotient. You get that? You will behave in a much aware way, with awareness, that consciously, that I don't have to behave like this because my trigger is there. So sometimes even before reaching home, So nowadays we are more careful on Thursdays. It's a Thursday, there is all possibility that all this will happen, so let's be more aware before you end up into an argument. Second one is don't hold grudges and bias. And this art of learning how to forget and forgive right? Usually our tendency is what? Tit for tat. Naturally, human way we behave like that. Okay, if she, anytime there is any problem, if you go to a marriage counselor, people will just start about meme tutu, you know. Okay, he's like this, that's why I'm like that. And you say, she's like that, that's why I'm like that, you know. You never take the onus of the problem that, am I a part of the problem or am I a part of the solution? But you always think opposite part is the person is a part of the problem and I'm always part of the solution. Have you noted that? Whenever you go for resolving a conflict, you will psychologically present that to the person who's trying to help you that, you know, the problem is from the opposite side. I am perfect. The boss is always right. We feel like that, right? Boss is always going to be right. So, sometimes because of that, you land up holding these grudges and bias against the person, thinking that that person is only at fault and I am not at fault. And that's why I am behaving like that. Otherwise, I am perfect. I usually don't behave like that. But because of the opposite person, I am behaving like that, and you land up holding grudges. And that affects our emotional connectivity with the opposite person. How I am going to connect, we get affected because of this. So unless we learn this art of forgetting and forgiving, which is the most difficult art in this world, drawing, interior decoration, any of those arts are very easy arts. But to be able to forget and forgive, you are not able to forget things which happened 20 years back with somebody. And that's why you are not able to forgive that person. Right? You may be cordial and like that, but you are not able to have a normal relationship with a person because of certain things which you might have been heard about years back. And this tendency, of course, is more in women than in men. But nowadays, it is happening, even men are becoming very sensitive. In olden days, they could take it in their own stride and forget about it. But sometimes nowadays, it's happening like that also. That
I'd like to share some wisdom which Prabhupada gave us on this second point. If you're taking notes, then don't write all of them. Take one and then maybe a few points and then it's right. So you're not missing out on some of the discussion. So this is important. This is what we're saying is important. We will teach you in a few minutes another Mahamantra now. Okay? We will initiate you rather. This mantra will come after this what Prabhupada said. Prabhupada told us this something very nice. See, Prabhupada is our grandfather, right? And a grandfather gives beautiful instructions. And because he was a Grihastha, I think it's perfect that, Krishna made the founder acharya of our society from a Grihastha background. That means he knew the nuances of business, management, emotions of people. He knew so many things which sometimes advanced also may know, theoretically, let's say, he may not have realized, but he had stayed with the woman, he had children, he had business which went up and went down, all those things, right? So Prabhupada was adept at being a perfect founder acharya by Krishna's arrangement. And therefore he could give, when he speaks about Grihastha life, it is with a lot of insight also. Apart from being a pure devotee, a lot of insight is there on a personal level. So he's give us 3 examples. And he said, when husband and wife have a conflict, now what is the probability that husband and wife will have a conflict in terms of mathematical equation? What is the probability that husband and wife when they marry will have a conflict? Definitely 1, right? There is a 100% probability that there will be a conflict, right? So then we will have to learn as young candidates how to deal with conflict. Conflict will not be a surprise. वो तो होना ही है, right? In Marathi there is a word called bhanda. Some of you are Marathi. Anybody Marathi here? Maharashtrian to me? The vessel is called as bhanda. Vessel is called as bhanda. And conflict is called as? Conflict is called as what? Bhandan. Conflict is called as bhandan and vessel is called as bhanda, right? So when 2 vessels come together, they will always create some noise, right? So Prabhupada said, first thing, that in the village there used to be goat fights. Goats would fight. You know, if two goats would come together, goats have some horn-like thing also, right? And they will lock into each other and they will, as if they are piercing each other, they will fight like a ghusar ke usko maar dalega. Real terrible fight they have. Very genuine, angry-looking fight. And somebody comes, they just do like that, and then what happens? They separate out and udhar gaya. As if nothing happened. You know? You need to separate people, human beings you have seen, and they still come forward. Separate them, why can they come forward? But goat will do that. Goat will do So, husband fight should be seen as goat fights. You fight like that, but then after you go, right? You separate out and as if everything is after that normal, right? So they fight with zeal and they forget it with ease. They fight with zeal, but they forget it with ease, right? Another thing said that there are two lawyers. One is the prosecuting side, other is the acquitted side, right? जो acquitted है उसका है lawyer, दूसरा सामने वाले का है lawyer. And they are all working in the same court, right? So they obviously they're colleagues, they're friends, right? But this time this lawyer is paid them for this. The opposite side, the acquitted side has paid them. So both have to fight for their clients, right? So when they are in the court of law in front of the judge, they present their case very, my lord, you just to understand that what our colleague is saying is actually not true because evidence shows that so and so, so and so, so and so, and according to the law, 3,400 quote so and so, right? It says that he should be hanged. Right? And then he said, that's right. But actually, my friend doesn't understand that he did not do this, and the evidence is that he was not there when the murder took place, right? So they fight. And then there's a big argument going on, and then they come out and said, "Hey, मजा आया यार, really मजा आया, चल यार, थक गया था, चाय पी के आते थे." Right? They come out, they fought for their clients, tooth and nail, as if they want to really have their guy to win, because they're taking their fees for fighting for the bar. When they come out, there is some animosity among themselves. They don't get it. It is only for that period. But when that is over, again they are friends. So again the same thing. Husband and wife, they will fight like that. But after a while, चल यार, ये चाय नहीं भी आते, क्या करते हैं? कुछ और करके आते हैं. Whatever. Let's go to a temple. Let's chant Hare Krishna. Something, There is nothing. The point is there is no long-lasting effect. That's the whole point. That it's the shelf life of a conflict should be very, very small. It should not have a long shelf life. Right? It should become rancid, खत्म हो जाएगा, तो फेंक देने का उसको. Right? It should not have long shelf life. And third, you would say that sometimes in summer season also there is thundering. You see, normally in monsoon, but summer में thunder होता है, बिजली भी होती है, कड़कती है, right? But do people take out umbrellas in summer because it is thundering? They know this is not the season, right? It is just thundering, but it will not be followed by rain. So also, husband and wife can garjana, garaste hain, baraste nahi. Right? But you don't take it seriously. You don't really start acting upon it by taking out umbrella or a raincoat or this whatever means you have protection, because it is not really relevant. So this way, husband and wife, this is a nice examples which we all like to quote many times to understand. So the Mahamantra now is, right here open, right here especially, okay? Disha done right here, but this will take the left here. Raghvira is for Krishna conscious mantras, left here. The mantra is 2 words, only 2 words, Mahamantra. What is that mantra? Let go. What is the mantra? Let go. What is the mantra? Let go. What is the mantra? Let go. Whenever there is conflict, you can fight if you want to. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever. Afterwards, no grudges. Grudge means you hold on. Right? You hold on for a long time. leave it alone, fight ho gaya, khatam ho gaya, life has to move on. If you hold it back, it's like a burning coal which is there with you, which will keep on burning your skin. Take the burning coal, throw it in the out the window, khatam. Right? Don't be, third one, don't be argumentative or arrogant. Be willing to lose the war. Right? And now you will see, you may have already probably seen when you have a fight with somebody, a verbal fight we're talking about, not physical fight, verbal fight. What keeps perpetuating that argument in the verbal war? Right? The desire to win. That you want to have the last word. Right? That I defeated him soundly. I gave so many arguments and I shut him up. Because I knew better than him. Right? So you want to always win the argument, and that comes from the fuel for that is the bad quality of arrogance. And arrogance is born out of false ego. Right? Arrogance is born out of false ego. False ego is like the wood, and the fire of that is the arrogance, and it burns. So, in husband-wife relationship especially, and this is what Krishna consciousness should teach us, that we don't just say things. We practice it, and be sure, my dear friends, that when you marry, which you will very soon, you will be called upon to practice this sloka many times. And Krishna will teach you, train you, force you to understand that you have to be humble. Arrogance is no good. It's a great deterrent in human relationships, and therefore when you argument, you say, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, accept. So don't try to win the war with your wife. Right? Because if you keep on escalating, you will shout, you will scream, she will shout, she will scream, and you will keep adding more arrogant fuel into the fire of the conflict, and it can become a burning fire, and it can burn your relationship very badly. Right? So when you detect that things are going in the wrong direction, diffuse it off. Keep silent. Okay, I give up. Don't fight. So it's your victory if you stop. Why? Because you have been effectively using your Krishna conscious muscles to subdue the power of false ego. That's your victory. That's not your loss. You have lost to male ego, but you have really won the war against Maya. Right? Am I clear? Are you getting the point? Right? So that's very important.
The fourth one is keeping our commitments makes one reliable and trustworthy. Right? When we got married, we take our Saptapadi vows. They say, and the vows are not only for the girls, the boys and girls both take vow of taking care of each other on every level. Physical, emotional, social. If you go through the vows which are taken in the marriage, they are quite in depth so that it covers all the aspects of married life. So you have made a commitment at marriage. Nowadays you see that when the marriage is taking place, it is such a jolly event that Pandit Mantra bolte hi ja raha hai, and then everybody is just, fun, frolic is going on, starters le lo, ye karo, wo karo. And to the extent even the couple is not paying attention to what is being said. हाथ आगे करो, हाथ आगे करके वो वाह बोलने को किसी से बात है, ये वो फोटो बराबर लेना, उधर उसको उसको वो दे देना, हाँ करेंगे वो पंडित जी बोलेंगे, just take a vow, but you don't even know what you are committing. So a devotee who is serious and wants the marriage to work, not a devotee, any person, we should be quite attentive in what we are committing. That I am promising on all levels that I will take care of you. I will be there by your side in up and down and whatever we take. Not only that, sometimes before marriage we make some commitments. Like during the interview period when you meet each other, you say, okay, You ask me what are your future plans. You say, okay, my plans are that I will go back to India. Suppose you're staying abroad. One boy told the girl that I'm planning to stay only for 3-4 years. After enough money is there, I will come back to India. And well, the girl wanted to stay in India. So he had made some sort of commitment like that, and just after marriage, immediately he just turned away. Then no, I said that if this happens, then only this. The girl started feeling very insecure. You made some sort of commitment, and now you are doing that. Any this type of commitments are there? That what other type of commitments will be there?
Even small commitments. I'll be here in time. I'll be here. So these are small commitments, right? Or I'll make a commitment that after 2-3 years when I have enough money, I'll buy you a nice necklace, right? Right? Whatever.
Yeah, that's a simple commitment. Or you might have.
And you keep on postponing that or denying that again and again. So that person loses faith that this person is just.
It just speaks, and then you don't trust the opposite person. Any relationship is based on love and trust, right? So you cannot just have only love, but you cannot trust the person. And every now and then, if you are just breaking your commitments, कि हम बोला था यात्रा पे जाएंगे और अभी suddenly cancel कर दिया नहीं जाएंगे, कि अभी नहीं जाने का है, or just anything like that, then it becomes a habit, and to the extent it might go in the breach of trust or fidelity also. Right? I have committed that I am going to have a relationship only with you, and I may end up having an extramarital affair. So I am breaking my commitment to my partner that I am going to remain committed only to you. That's a big commitment, right? We are talking about. So we are talking about all those small and big type of commitments which help in the emotional quotient of a person. But if you are in the habit of breaking small commitments, then if it comes to even the big commitment, you don't feel it is very serious. So what? I'm taking care of you now. If there's other ladies in my life, so what? What's your problem in life? I'm not committed to you. Your money I'm giving you. Monthly whatever expenditure is there. So what if I'm having that? Now does that emotionally help your wife to keep peaceful? Does it keep your marriage peaceful? It brings a big upheaval. So please understand this, that keeping our commitments and being reliable and trustworthy is a very, very important ingredient to be able to keep the emotional quotient of our marriage intact. Right? Next is also we have to be happy to offer assistance and go that extra mile. See, we give assistance to anybody around, right? Somebody needs help in the office, we are ready to help. Somebody needs help on the road, we are ready to help. That type of helpfulness we show everywhere. But if to our own people, we take it for granted that इनको क्या करने का जरूरत है, ये तो अपने ही है ना, कहाँ जाने वाले हैं? Whether I offer assistance or not, they are not going to go anywhere. Then that is not fair. So for our own people, we should go even more of an extra mile to make them feel a little special. Everybody likes to feel special, right? So to make somebody feel special in your life, you have to do that. Then opposite person also will go double extra mile. Because in marriage, the relationship is like a mirror. What you show them, that much they will do. So if you are rude, they will behave rude. Tendency is like that, right? So if I am going an extra mile, opposite person will feel like going 2 miles. Then you will go 3 miles and they will go 4 miles. It's like that Hanumanji and that Sura's mouth keeps opening bigger and bigger. It's always going to be like that. So you go 1 mile, they go 2 miles. You go 3 miles, they go 10 miles. Right? So, and more so that is the human psychology of a woman. Because women are more tit for tat than men are. That's the way it is. So if you go that extra mile, they will surrender their whole life to you. But if you rub their wrong side, then you had it. You will have it. So please understand that we need to do that extra to make somebody feel special. And what's wrong in making your own person feel special? We should want to do that, right? The next is acknowledge and offer genuine appreciation. Now this is a very, very important thing, right? We are going to break our fast now with some sort of juice. You know which is the best juice available? Best juice. Which is the juice people like the best? Mango juice, lemon juice, orange juice. You know which is the worst juice? Karela. Something which is worse than Karela? Neem. Something worse than neem? The worst juice The worst juice is conjuice. We are so confused in offering appreciation. Do you agree? Try to remember when is the last you appreciated anybody around you. Whether it's your parents, your friend or anybody. Because we take each other so much for granted. Once you come close, when the relationship is distant, you are like very appreciative. Thank you so much sir, very nice sir, Regina Peter again sir, very good sir, this, that. When it comes, the relation becomes a little closer, you feel that, okay, what is so much there to do? You expect the opposite person to be a mind reader. You should understand that, what is the need? But when you are doing so much thank you to people who are so distant from you, why? Because you care for the relationship. So you go that extra mile to do that. But with our own person, we feel, kahan jayenge? Now where are they going to go? So I do not feel the need to appreciate. But just think of the time when you have been appreciated. How do you feel? How do you feel when you have been appreciated? Prabhuji? If somebody appreciates you, how do you feel? अच्छा लगता है. What do you feel, Prabhu, when you are appreciated? Only nice?
How does it
How nice? Encouraged. How do you feel, Prabhu?
Feel valued. Someone is valued?
Valued.
Yes.
Inspired. How do you feel, Prabhuji, when you are appreciated?
You
You feel special. You feel elated. Wow, you are appreciating me. Now, such positive emotions are coming. Okay, how do you feel? Want to do again and want to do more. Right? It's not that you are doing mashka polish that, थोड़ा और करो. इसके लिए बोल रहे हैं. Motivation is important. But obviously, appreciation, they say, acts like a tonic. It makes you want to do more and more and more. And criticism, on the other side, it makes you want to do less. इतना करने के बाद भी यही मिलता है तो क्यों करे भी क्यों? After doing so much, if this is what I'm going to get, then what is the need to do? But then that means sometimes you will end up being neutral. You don't even criticize, but you don't even appreciate. Does that help? If I want to just keep a relationship stagnant, you can do that. But if I want to always have a progressive relationship, a better relationship, I am going to appreciate even the small things. It could just be a very stupid thing also, Why say stupid? Insignificant thing. That prasad is very nice today. Every day the person is making very nice. Prabhuji, you are working so hard for the family. I really appreciate you are going out of your way to do extra, overtime and get more money home. You are making arrangements to go for a vacation, or the husband says you are keeping the house so clean. Or it could just be, Prabhuji, you are looking very handsome in this shirt. Or the husband says you are looking very beautiful in this sari. Simple as that, but it makes you feel better. Wow, I'm being appreciated for what I'm doing. So it's a habit. Appreciation is a habit which we need to get into. These Lions Club people, how much they just get people to work just by appreciating small things you do, and they give you badges. So many badges they will put you. Oh, you are doing this very nicely. You planted this tree very nicely. You get a badge. You served food very nicely. You get a badge. So for small things, if that happens, why not be more conscious? Then let us be more appreciative to our colleagues, to our friends. Then it will come even to our partners. So be more conscious about that. Also be willing to apologize. It takes great humility to apologize and say sorry. Like Prabhuji told in the beginning that when I care for a relationship, I don't mind saying sorry, because it's not that I'm wrong that I'm saying sorry, but because I care for the relationship, I'm trying to say sorry. Also, we need to be sensitive to the person's situation, feelings and behavior. That opposite people are behaving like this because that happens only if I have a high EQ.
So we talked about apologies, right? So again, even though this is put in the category of EQ, it is born out of spiritual strength. So oftentimes you will see these subjects are there here. They are born out of they're easy for people to practice, those who are practicing spirituality. Because spirituality also is a science which helps us to nurture our spiritual nature. We all have a spiritual nature, right? Our soul, we have a soul, so we have a spiritual nature, right? We have a mind, we have emotional nature. But we have a spiritual nature, so when you are properly nourishing your spiritual nature, by genuine prayer, by genuine, eating of prasadam, by genuine service to the Vaishnavas, by genuinely serving Tulsi Maharani and the Vaishnavas, right? When you're genuinely worshipping the deity of the Lord, when you're doing these services genuinely, you are actually nourishing, these are not just activities, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, right? You're actually nourishing your spiritual part of your existence. And therefore, as a result of that purification of the soul, you are allowing that spiritual nature to actually manifest. And therefore, it comes to a level where even emotionally, it is much more easier through your mind to practice the quality of being apologetical. It would not require, it would be less of a struggle of your false ego to say, I think I made a mistake. I shouldn't have said this to you. I shouldn't have done this to you. But because of ignorance or haste or rash behavior or stress or because of sheer ego, I did something or I said something which was improper towards a person as wonderful as you. Right? And therefore, I think I regret that. Right? So, when you nurture your spiritual, this is how we connect Krishna consciousness to emotional EQs. They are not independent things. So do not go by saying, I have to do something for EQ separately. That is, something is there. You have to, what you focus into will develop. So that partly is there. However, please understand that as you are nourishing your EQ, you keep nourishing your spiritual side and both combinations become much more easy. Fusion. The fusion is much more easier. That means what is in your mind is in your soul, and what is in your soul becomes a part of your mind. So there is no separateness. Right? Your mind is getting completely spiritualized. The mind is an element, right? But as it is getting nourishment from the soul by Jagruti of your spiritual culture, your mind is getting spiritualized. Am I communicating properly? Right? So it is really Chetadarpana Maharajanam. The mind is like a mirror, and then because the soul is purified, the mind also is. The soul is impure, the mind also is. The image is impure because the object is impure. The soul is the object, the mirror is the object giving surface. Correct? You understand? Right? So, in that sense, while we are becoming conscious that therefore we find a person who is spiritually awakened is a person oftentimes who also has like Lord Buddha, right? Or Rupa Goswami, right? Or Narad Muni. Now he is seeing these animals are growing and dying. Half dead. They're dying like that. So who's doing this to these animals? Mrigari is doing this. For Mrigari, it was a sadistic pleasure. Imagine somebody taking pleasure in that and somebody with a pure heart, this compassionate heart, for him his EQ is telling him, how can somebody do this to an animal? They're bleeding and dying so painfully. He said, you kill them properly. One shot, kill them off. This is what your profession is, right? So a person who is Jagrut, who is awakened spiritually, is also a person who is emotionally very sensitive. Lack of human sensitivity is a part of being spiritually unawakened. If we are performing our sadhana mechanistically, just for filling the sadhana chart or just for keeping some standards, but we are not doing it actually from within our heart, right? It won't lead to true purification of our minds also, and it will not manifest in the form of a transformation of our behavior. Spiritual awakening leads to mental purification of the mind. The mind is the central focus of yoga, as you know. But as the mind is purified, it should manifest as what? As what? As what? Behavior. And therefore you connect this understanding to Prabhupada's answer. So Prabhupada asked, my dear sir, somebody asked him, a journalist, and how do we know who's a follower of your society? What was Prabhupada's answer? So gentleman means that his behavior is gentlemanly. Let's say he has a purified mind, or that his soul is awakened the spiritual value that he is, practicing, a process. He didn't say about the process. It's all about the result of the process. If the result is not proper, then my process also is probably. That means if I'm doing an experiment in the laboratory, then I'm getting a wrong product. I'm getting a wrong precipitate. That means the process of using that also is wrong. Right? So we have to judge a thing by its results. Right? Phalena, parichiyate. Prabhupada said, you judge a thing by its results. So if my result is that I am arrogant in behavior, I'm argumentative, I'm always driven by false ego, I fail to apologize when I make mistakes, that means my spirituality which I'm practicing, I'm probably proud about, that I'm a devotee or a practicing devotee, is not still being done with proper, genuine application. Why? Because just see the way I'm behaving with my wife or my friends, my colleagues, my neighbors, my fellow devotees. This is not becoming is this a Vaishnava behavior? You ask yourself. I don't think so. That means something is wrong in the way I'm practicing the process. I need to become more genuine and sincere. Okay? That's what it means. Are you getting the point? So we are connecting EQ to SQ now. They are not independent. Do not think of things as, you talk about physical factors, eating prasadam. Is it SQ, EQ, AQ, whatever? It is that. But you're eating food by your body, but you're seeing it spiritually. That is coming from Krishna, right? So SQ is involved. So in that sense, all are acting in an integrated manner. They are not slots like, compartmentalized. This is AQ or ESQ or S. They are not like that. You are one human being. You are one unit. And therefore everything is interacting. Like the kidney is interacting with the liver is interacting with the brain. All are interacting, right? They are not liver akela kaam kar raha hai, kuch kidney akela kaam kar raha hai, brain akela kaam kar raha hai. They are all working together. It's called as homeostasis. The word used in science is homeostasis. That means your mind, your body, and your soul are all working in harmony. That is called as yoga. Right? Okay. So let's take the next one. Be sensitive to the person's situation, feelings and behavior. Right? I think that point which I want to mention is what is the important word which we want to take to heart here is human sensitivity. Right? Again, to bring that same example as I quoted yesterday, we don't take meat. Why? Why do we eat meat? Because it is an expression of our sensitivity towards innocent, loving animals who are also sons of God, sons of Krishna. Right? So it's a part of human sensitivity to not cut the throat of a chicken or a goat or a pig and eat them for food. It is just sheer lack of sensitivity. And like I said, it's called as cruelty. Right? And therefore, absence of sensitivity will lead to the quality of cruelty. Right? So, would you like to be cruel to your wife? How many of you will say yes? Obviously no. You will say no. That means if I'm not sensitive, I'm likely to be sometimes cruel to her. So not understanding people's situations and emotions and not practicing that quality of sensitivity will lead to cruel responses. Am I getting the point? If I'm not sensitive, then I'm called as insensitive. Insensitive का दूसरा शब्द क्या है? Hard-heartedness. A hard heart becomes cruel. Right? And therefore the wife is working very hard for cleaning the family, taking care of your parents. Sometimes your parents are aged parents. Right? Some of you have aged parents. Some of your father may be paralyzed, your father may be a heart patient, your father may have asthma, your mother may have joint problem, osteoarthritis. And your wife is bringing so much to help. Right? So then she would expect that she would like to be appreciated, she would like to be thanked. Then her needs would have to be taken care of also. That you are just getting the work output from her for doing what you want to be done because you love your parents, but you are not sensitive to her. What about her needs? So you are very sensitive to your parents' needs being satisfied, but you are insensitive to your wife's needs being satisfied. Are you getting the point? That means we are partial, we are biased. Right? Women do not want to be treated as maid servants. They don't want to see that you have married them to do household work and take care of the aging parents. That they don't like. And nobody will like that. And I am called to this house so that I am just a maid to keep the house clean and take care of aging parents. No. She also has her needs which will be satisfied. So if you don't do that, it will be a problem. So understand her feelings. Sometimes she is sulking. You come home and she is not talking. Right? You come home and she is... Usually you will find a wife who comes and says, oh, you come home, very nice. You eat with a smile. So you know that things are normal. But you come home and... Would you neglect her or would you ask her? What would you do? If you neglect her, she's given an expression. Now, wrong or right, that is after that's detail. Whether she is expressing for the right reason or wrong, it's a detail. We won't get into that. But if she is doing like this, you understand that she is expressing some feeling which she wants you to register, right? And you may ask her afterwards, today you don't look happy. Till when I come home, you are quite cheerful, you are chirpy, you are very nice, you are very jolly looking at. Right? But today I feel that you are unhappy. Is there a reason? Did something happen in the last few hours when I was not there? Did my parents say something, or did someone's phone call come, or are your parents in difficulty, or what happened? Whatever. You may ask some questions to find out, and he said, please feel free to express yourself. Now, if you feel something is already going, some issues going in the family, you may want to talk to her, being sensitive that you don't ask in front of your parents, because you probably know from intuition that your mother just said something. Right? This is sensitivity. Remember, this is I'm giving you a very true life picture. You probably know that your mother is likely to have made some comment which is acidic in nature. With acid and alkaline. Acidic comment has been made. So don't ask in front of her, guys, what happened? She's not going to say in front of your mother, obviously. Right? You don't say, you know what your mother did today? She's also going to be sober about it. After the food is over, we go home and she expresses. So this is called all part of EQ.
The ninth one is the balance between partner and parents. This is most important for boys because usually they become like the filling in the sandwich. How many people have had stuffed sandwiches?
Grilled sandwich.
Grilled sandwich with cheese and vegetables and all. Mostly, this is what the situation of boys become. Why? Because they love their parents. Naturally, they have done so much for us to raise us, to educate us, to give us love and affection. Even they have gone through so much difficulty to be able to make us what we are today. So, obviously, we must love and respect our parents. That goes without saying. But also, when you get married, you feel love and affection for the girl because she has also left her whole family and she has come to your family. She left where she was staying, her loved ones, whatever she wanted, and she has come alone to your house. So naturally you need to acknowledge and register that sacrifice also which she has made. And that is where so many, majority of problems sometimes are not between the husband and wife, sometimes they get along well, but it happens because of this third person. The issue of in-laws. And trust us, when we go for preaching abroad, so many people have shifted to US just to avoid this problem. Out of sight, out of mind. The parents are here, they are financially sending money over here and taking care. But under the pretext of job, they have gone over there just to keep some peace of mind that, to keep the two parties separate. Right? So, yeah, even then it happens with the remote control being with the parents over here. Daily there is a phone call and says, what did you eat? What did she do? Where is she? What is she doing? What is she not doing for you? She should not do like this. You should tell her like this. All these things keep happening. Sometimes the girl keeps chadaving the boy, that you are like this, mama's boy and all, should tell like this to them and you should do like this. So unless you are not having a high emotional EQ, of being able to handle both the situations intelligently and keep both the wife also happy and the parents also happy, in what way, that will be different for each one. Depending on the time, place, circumstance, it will be like that. So unless you learn this art, especially for the boys, you will have great difficulty in marriage because the two main parties becomes this: the wife, the partner whom you also love, and the parents whom you also love. So unless you are going to be unbiased towards both, if you are going to be biased towards anyone that oh, this new person has come into my life, so I'm just so enamored by her beauty and by the love of her and all, that I just start mistreating my parents, then that is also not good. And on the other side, if you just become so much carried away by what your parents say, you tell the wife, whatever they do, they are my parents, okay? You are just supposed to understand and you are supposed to adjust. And you do not tell anything to the parents, then the girl feels alienated. She feels that I am alone. She feels that at least if my husband understands me, my in-laws don't understand me, they are not treating me properly, but at least my husband understands me, then I don't mind going through whatever difficulty is. Because for her, the most important person is the husband. She can face the whole world and all the difficulties in the world if she feels that my partner understands me. And if she feels my partner doesn't understand me and everything else is also okay, she will remain unhappy and your marriage will not become peaceful and happy. So please, we have to be very sensitive to this issue, that not get even 51 and 49 carried away by, remain 50-50. Hear out both the parties. When the mother also says, you say, yeah, I understand, yeah, we will do what is this thing. But not that as soon as you come out of the parents' room, you just come out. So the wife knows that every time he's going to go there, he's going to come out like a volcano. So then she becomes anti your parents, naturally. And who's responsible for that? You. You will be responsible for her behaving like that, more anti. But if you hear the parents also, yes, I understand. And when the wife tells you also, your mother says this, yeah, I understand you also. Yes, I understand. And take small steps to keep that peace. So you might have to act like a referee. So, and do not take sides unless it's a very major thing. Sometimes the boys become pennywise pound foolish and small things they will keep doing. You should not do this, you do this. Then when something big happens, nobody will take you serious. Both will say, but when you don't speak, and take sides. When something major is there, you might be able to take up a stand. Yes. Those are selected. Just one more point is there, then we'll go for the second. So that balancing act, please, this will be a very important thing which will show what is your emotional. All these other factors will come in that. Your parents could be the main triggering factor.
Yeah.
Understand that. It could make you biased. That could also, could make you argumentative and want to make you win this thing. It may make you lose your commitment. You might have told, okay, I will take care of you and see to it that you are emotionally satisfied and all. But because of your parents, you may not be able to keep up your commitments. You may not want to go that extra mile because it might be affecting the parents. You might even become confused in offering appreciation in that, and you may not even practice humility or willing to apologize, and you will not be sensitive to understand our feelings and everything just for that eighth factor.
We are having elaborated adequately on this. Please note that this is one of the important, certainly very crucial thing which makes marriage work nicely. We've had experiences of parents sometimes becoming direct and indirect causes of a divorce of their own sons. As surprising as it may appear to you, but this can sometimes go to a very extreme degree where what is called as love rivalry. That means the parents start feeling that my son is now being loved by somebody else who's an outsider, right? So his love, the object is the same, son. Parents love him, wife also loves him, but they feel that there is some sort of a, you can say the word envy or whatever else, right? It is true, it is
Competition.
part of competition, yeah. Competition stems from envy many times, right? So then somebody is competing for the same person. मुझे भी चाहिए, उसको भी चाहिए, right? And therefore they try to keep the son with themselves by usually poisoning his mind towards his wife to think that we are so good, but she is actually no. So you should keep loving us, but don't love her so much. The best to do that is to keep poisoning him. If their wife ने ऐसा किया, she keeps everything dirty, she doesn't work, she's always sleeping, whatever, right? If the husband and wife want to spend some time, there is another scenario which we have seen that husband and wife are just married, fellow has come from job late night, the wife wants to speak to him, something, right? But if they want to go for a stroll or just want to spend some time together, somehow the wife, the mother-in-law, father-in-law may say something to not allow them to give enough time to themselves. Right? That means they prevent emotional ventilation of the husband and the wife. Right? And therefore the conflict continues, it brews. You know what is brewing? It ferments. Right? And came to such a point where the wife felt so neglected by the husband because he was not giving him enough time because of various interference, that the wife felt attached to somebody else who was giving emotional gratification to her, by understanding her feelings. And that marriage, this is a devotee family, please remember, ended in a divorce. So, we are giving you an extreme scenario, it doesn't happen all the time, so don't go with that impression. But this is what it can lead to if you do not practice this, what Vishaka said about, being very astute in your analysis and not getting too much swayed to one side. And of course being conscious that the wife will need little more attention because she's just brought in the family. You are with your parents for 25 years, but she's here only for the last 5 months. So she has to be made comfortable. So sometimes doing those things which cater to her needs makes her comfortable have you probably done as a priority. Right? So we don't go into too many details over here, but just to sensitize you that this is also part of your emotional awakening.
Because yesterday we were talking about that people don't want to stay in joint families, and that's what also becomes the cause of late marriages, because the boys need to settle and all. But one of the reasons the girls are afraid of staying in joint family is this, that they don't trust that the boys are mature enough to handle the situation in a unbiased way. They feel that if I stay in the family, then I will be belittled, I will be neglected, I may not be understood, and I will be treated very, secondary type of treatment I will get. So then I don't want to stay together. If we could assure our girls of that, then why would they not want to stay together also? There's no problem in doing that.
Yeah.
So then the last point is never resolve, never ever to give up. It's not worth all the financial, emotional and spiritual mess that you have to go through. This you will know only if you have had some person close to you who has undergone a divorce. Do any of you know somebody close to you in your family, in your friends, in your social circle, in your professional circle, or somebody who has gone through divorce? How many of you all know somebody like that?
Closely.
Slowly people are putting up their hands.
Yeah.
But please know, if you have been, and we have been with many people, it's a very, very traumatic situation. In fact, it is considered like the most serious things that cause psychological imbalance to people. One is a divorce, one is that it is considered as much as the death of a near and dear one. The trauma that you go through, because it's the death of a relationship, no? The death of a relationship. So it's a very, very traumatic situation in every way. The legal encumbrances that you have to go through, the money loss. You might have had a lavish marriage and spend lakhs of rupees on it, and then you go through a divorce in 1 year, 2 years. What happens? Everything has gone down the drain. Right? Then legally when you go into the court, there is all slandering going on. You are on that side and I am on this side, and there is all character assassination going on. I want to prove that the opposite person is bad. Of all the loving moments that I shared with you, of all the nice times we had with each other, you forget everything. Everything goes in the dustbin. And what surfaces out is the ugly face of all the dirtiness which you want to throw each other on each other, That person is like this person is like this. All your emotions go through so much of turmoil, right? So financially you lose a lot of money because lawyers thrive on this. They will keep on postponing the case because they are getting all the money. So, legal entanglement that you go through. And the spiritual mess that you go through, all the principles on which you wanted to base your spirituality on. Spiritual life also gets so disturbed. You think you can chant the rounds nicely. You think you can hear classes nicely or do it, devotional service with enthusiasm. But all your enthusiasm is being sapped by all this. So all the mess that you go through, we are just telling you in very short. You should decide that when you come to that stage, it should be the last thing. When not on stupid things which people base on today. Sometimes if you see the reasons for which people divorce, you feel like laughing at it. Last time we have given an example that some people want to divorce each other just because you press the toothpaste from the wrong side. I always wanted that toothpaste should be pressed from here, and he always presses from here. So he's like that, I don't want to stay with you. Silly reason like that, Or like the father-in-law was sick and the husband told him, hold his hand and take him to the bathroom, because he cannot walk alone. So the devotee wife says, I don't touch any other man except my husband, except you. Why you are telling me to touch your father? For that some divorce is taking place. Stupid reasons like this, Or the girl wanted to go, instead of 2 times, she wanted to go 3 times to her mother's house. But the husband felt she is going too much to the mother's house. So I want to divorce her. Like silly reasons. If there is a concrete reason, some good reason, then you can also understand that it asks for it. But please understand that we should resolve firstly that I never want to give up this relationship. It's not based on such superficial excuses to want to give up. Try your utmost best to save it. You should in fact go ahead with the notion that this is my relationship for this life. ऐसे नहीं बोल रहे कि 7 जन्म का साथ चाहिए कि life after life, but at least ये जन्म में तो साथ में रहो. Somehow or the other work it out. So all this training is being done to make you feel that no, I can work it out. Yesterday we were talking, in olden days you didn't even have a choice. Your parents decided your marriage and you saw the partner on the day of the marriage. But you had so much confidence in yourself that whatever the partner is, I will make it work. I had that faith because my EQ was so high, my everything was so high. But today, even after dating and carrying on for 2-3 years, after you get married within 1 or 2 years you break. If you don't have that faith in yourself, I can make it work. Do it, take all the training required, but don't end the relationship. That requires a very high level of EQ to be able to do that.
So, to conclude the session now, we will go to break for breakfast. In your heart of hearts, when you understand what we discussed last 1 hour, do you think that if you practice the 9 principles given before the 10th one, that anybody's marriage can go into a divorce? Right? If you were to practice these 1 to 9, only 1 to 9, and is it something which you would not like to do for having so much to gain from a happy marriage? A happy marriage means you are happy, your children are happy, you have nice samskaras, the parents are happy, your guru is happy, your devotees are happy, and you are flourishing and blooming in Krishna consciousness. Economically you are growing, in every way you are flowering. Your potentials are being expressed to the maximum. You are on a beautiful growth curve on every side. That is what a happy marriage can give you. Good health, good wealth, emotional gratification, spiritual growth. Everything you want from life will come from a good marriage. Right? Everything you want in your life will come from a good, happy marriage. Please remember that. So ashram stability is foundational for all growth of life. But the brahmachari also, if he wants to grow in brahmachari ashram, his foundational stability in an ashram is what is going to be required for his growth. So ashram stability, Krishna has made an ashram for stock percent stability yesterday. You remember her points, right? So if you are stable, then you can at least grow. But if you're just looking for strength, sadhana only, you're not going to be stable in your relationship. Your strength is going to be used in the wrong direction. Probably use your strength to break the relationship. Right? There have been people who have been arrogant about their spiritual culture and break the relationship because they are so strong in their sadhana, they want to break the relationship. Crazy. Right? So, we want to end the session on a very positive note for all of you to understand that if you just understand these first 9 principles nicely with a genuine open heart, then we can assure you with guarantee that actually your marriage will be a beautiful success. Hare Krishna.
What do the others do well?
What is it?